start. Okay, let's go back then. Okay, so like I was saying, the idea really is for this first meeting with the entire group to be more about exchanging, putting everyone on the same page, bringing everyone up to speed, and making sure that we get to know one another better. And also then discuss some very practical aspects regarding, for example, our meetings in 2023, because we are a big group and we want to make sure that we have many members attending most of our meetings. And also we want to start the brainstorming around the priorities for our group in 2023, and also leave some time and for you to share any other topics you would like to share with the group. So like I said, patient partnership, which is also the name of this working group, it is now a concept that we at EURORDIS are advocating for. So you might have heard other terms such as patient engagement, patient involvement, and even patient partnership, because we have now already been talking about this quite a bit. And these are indeed terms that can and have been used interchangeably, but we feel that patient partnership really takes this collaboration among the different ERN stakeholders, so including patient representatives, clinicians, but also researchers, to the next level, and frames it in more equal terms. So that's why we are now promoting this term and this definition, and we have been using the definition that was coined by the Rare 2030 Foresight study that you can see here on this slide, and that basically says that patient partnership implies going beyond empowerment and engagement. So really in patient partnerships, the involvement should be sustainable and continuous and should happen early on. It should be also about shared leadership and about promoting this idea of equal partners and equal partnerships among the different stakeholders. And now, after we went through basically the theory behind the name and the scope of this working group, we'd like to take some time to really get to know each other better. So if you agree, and I'm going to stop sharing so that we can see each other's faces more clearly. If you agree, we could start with a round of introductions. So let's keep it short for now. We also have prepared this word cloud so that you can share with us your main expectations for this working group. But now if you could just start by sharing your name, the ERN that you represent, and what you do in your ERN, I think it would be a good way to kick off this introduction round. If you agree, I'm going to start with the first person that appears on my screen, which is Ami. Who is Ami? Ami, would you?
Hi, my name is Ami Andersson and I come from Sweden, Stockholm. I am an EPAG in ERN Ithaca. I have a daughter with spina bifida, but my organization here in Sweden is covering 9 or 10 different kinds of disabilities, and some of them are rare and some of them are not rare. Why I'm in this group? I think it's interesting to hear from other experiences, and I hope that I can be a better EPAG in Ithaca. And yeah, I think that's it. It's going to be very interesting to see, and I hope I can give back something to you.
Thank you, Ami. Could you now name someone else that you would like to hear from?
The only one I see is Dorica on my screen. So you go, Dorica.
Thank you, Ami. So I'm Dorica Dan. I am an EPAG in Ithaca with Ami. And I'm here in this working group because I know that We can't do many things alone, but if we have a clear partnership with other stakeholders, we might achieve our goals faster and better and include all the views and all the opinions in our work. So that's my own reason why I'm here.
Thank you, Dorica. And would you give the floor to someone else? You're muted, sorry.
Yes, to Ilaria.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dorica. Sorry if I don't share my screen, but it's better for you not to see me now. So I'm IPAG in ERN Reconnect, and I am a co-chair with Silvia Aguilera, and I am representative of my disease, which is a rare disease. And I think that Dorica already explained also on my behalf the reason why I'm here. And I would like to leave the floor to Giovanna Campioni.
Thank you, Ilaria. Giovanna, I'm not sure if you're muted, but we're not hearing you, or at least I'm not.
Okay.
Ah, now, yeah.
Okay. I'm Giovanna Campioni. I'm the director of Italian Association for Congenital Heart Disease. I have a heart disease, a congenital heart disease, and I work with my association, work with ERN, with ECTO, is an European Federation of Congenital Heart Disease Association with for kids and for adults with congenital heart disease. I work with Ilaria, and the reason of the interest of the group is to learn and improve my skills through the experience of others, and I hope I can be of help myself.
Thank you so much, Giovanna. Would you name someone else to go now after you to introduce him or herself?
I'm a counselor. Sorry?
Sorry?
My work in the association. I don't understand.
No, if you would, who would you want to introduce him or herself next from the people here in the room, in the meeting?
Oh, okay.
Would you want me to say? Okay, I'll just say a name. So maybe the next person I see is Lex.
Yes, okay. Mariangela.
Okay. So Mariangela, would you mind introducing yourself?
Sorry.
Don't worry.
But internet is not so good here in this moment. My connection.
Don't worry.
Okay.
Okay, so hello everyone. I'm Mariangela Pellegrini. I'm also Italian, but I'm based in Paris, and I work for the ERN Euroblonet, so the European Reference Network on Rare Hematological Diseases. And I'm the manager for all the patients' activity and educational activity for patients and healthcare professionals. And I will pass the floor to Olivia.
Hi everyone, my name is Olivia Spivak. I am a project manager in Ernica. My role within Ernica as a project manager is quite varied, but one of my roles is to support the EPAG group alongside Graham Slater, who's here today as well as our EPAG lead. So that's one of my my tasks within the network. I'm British and I'm based in Rotterdam in the Netherlands.
Thank you, Olivia. Would you select someone?
Jana.
Thank you.
Hi. Hi, everyone. My name is Diana, or Diana, as you wish, as you prefer. I'm based in Pisa, in Italy, and I work in the coordination team of the ERN Reconnect, which is basically the network on rare connective tissue diseases. Yes, I'm very glad to be here. And I hope that together we will be able to promote the culture of patients' partnerships, not only within the networks, but maybe why not even outside the networks.
Thank you. Thank you for that ambitious goal too, Diana. Would you name someone else, please? to go next?
Let me see. Oh, Treasure. Hi.
Hello. My name is Treasure Udechukwu. I work with Vascurn, so the ERN for rare vascular diseases. And my role at Vascurn is a communication and patient engagement officer. So more working with patients and patient activities, and looking forward to what we can do with this group to improve patient partnership.
Thank you, Treasure.
And I will give the floor to Jana.
Thank you, Treasure. So my name is Jana. I actually work with Olivia, but then for the other ERN within the Erasmus Medical Center. So I work for ERN Cranio. And Olivia has been so kind to give the management of the patient representatives within ERN Cranio to me. So as of September this year, I'm in contact with the EPACs within ERN Cranio. Let me see who hasn't been. I will give the floor to Charissa.
Thank you, Jana.
Good afternoon. I'm Charissa. I'm based in Belgium. I'm an EPAC, a co-chair in Pastern for vascular EDS. I'm also for EDS in an EPAC in Reconnect. And I'm here actually representing Pastern as one of the co-chairs there for the board. And I hope to do something. Sorry, I have a really bad headache. Had a car accident 2 days ago, so I'm gonna go. Yeah,
Slow. Thank you for being here with us.
So I'm gonna turn my video off because I can't sit straight.
Sure. As you feel comfortable. Would you like to name someone, or shall I do it?
I'll name Lex.
Thank you, Charissa. My name is Lex. I'm based in the Netherlands. I'm part of the ERN Vascurn and Skin. And my expectations are, or my objective is actually, a lot of things are disease independent. And I think this partnership is indeed disease independent. So I think that's very worthwhile to get all this knowledge and experience together to make it work for all ERNs and even also outside the ERNs, I think. That's all.
Thank you so much, Lex. Would you select someone else?
Yes, Graham.
Thank you.
Okay, good morning. Sorry, I was a bit late joining. I had a meeting which overran in the previous hour. Yeah, so I'm Graham Slater. I'm the lead EPAG for Ernica, as I think Olivia mentioned. And I just agree with the comments Lex made that, there's some very important things which are completely independent of disease or disease group. And I think it's a good opportunity on this working group to make some specific progress on this very important topic of patient partnership.
Thank you, Graham, so much. And would you like to?
I'm not sure who's gone, you see, because I wasn't here.
Oh, you're in, of course. Well, then I'll do it.
I'll
for
let you do it.
Okay. Stefano, I think you still haven't introduced yourself.
Yes, I'm Stefano Pavanello from Italy. I'm an EPAG for ERN Lung. I'm here because I really believe in in every kind of relationship between all the stakeholders, and because I have the idea that other stakeholders don't know many aspects of our conditions as patients, so we have to work together for this reason. Thank you. I don't know, I'm the last, or are you, I'm the last one, or?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, we are only missing Ariane,
yes.
Lenny and myself. So maybe Ariane, you would like to go first?
Okay, so the Yordi staff we are missing. So I'm Ariane. I'm working at Eurodis with Rita and Lenia, and I'm working with the ERNs for rare cancers specifically, and also with EuroBloodNet, which is hybrid, because it covers rare hematological disease, so not only blood cancers, but also non-malignant rare hematological diseases.
Thank you, Ariane. Lenia, I'm not sure, can you say a couple of words? Would you like-
Yes, sure. Well, it's great to see all of you here together. Our first call all together. Well, some are missing, no? I don't know how many we are in total. We're gonna talk about that in a second, but
We are 17 in total.
okay.
But we are actually, we are missing 3 people, I believe.
Okay. No, quite a big group. So I'm Lenia Wier, and I'm a colleague of Rita and Ariane. I work at Eurodis as a senior patient engagement manager. And yeah, I'm looking forward to collaborating with all of you on this important topic. I'm in the background today because my son is ill and with me. So yeah, it's great to see all of you.
Thank you so much, Lenia. And I'm Rita. I'm working with Ariane and Lenia. I'm a patient engagement junior manager for the ERN and healthcare team. And apparently I'm the only staff member who is not ill at this moment because Ariane and Lenia are both recovering. So yeah, so that's why I'm also the one taking the lead today. So let's get back to the slides, if you don't mind. We also had prepared a word cloud for you to share your expectations so that we could also have like this visual with your ideas and your expectations. But I think we can, when we send you these slides and the minute meetings, and we are also going to share this with the other members of the working group who couldn't be here with us today, we will invite you to fill this out, and then we can also share the nice word cloud in our next meeting, if you agree with that. Okay, and then just to frame this working group, because many of you talked about creating this common culture of patient partnerships, which is indeed a common goal and a transversal solution across the different ERNs. But we also wanted to frame this working group within the different working groups, transversal working groups that Eurodis already has up and running. And we, as you can see here, so we have the EPAG steering committee. Many of you participate in one or several of these working groups or task forces that you can see here. But just again, to put everyone on the same page, we do have the EPAG steering committee that sort of oversees strategically our patient partnership should be implemented and should be built in the ERNs. And now we see the EPAG patient partnership working group somehow as this implementation arm of the EPAG steering committee, so that we really implement the different and promote the different tools that we have been developing as a community, and also map the effectiveness of those tools to see how successful they are, and basically to improve on what we are doing. And then we have several other different topical working groups. So for example, the Connecting Patients with working groups, which is more related to raising awareness of the ERNs at the national level. Then the Clinical Practice Guidelines Working Group, more focused on clinical practice guideline development and implementation. The Research and Registries Working Group, the Training and Education Working Group, and a working group that is now a hot topic at the moment for all of you, I believe, the AMAQUIS task force, since the ERN evaluation process has just started. So that specific task force deals and works on that. But focusing on our working group here, this is just so that you understand there is a wider context in which our working group is included in. And Our working group is quite special in the sense that we do have EPAG advocates and ERN managers as full members. And this I think creates a new dynamic, and hopefully we are going to have more positive and meaningful outcomes. And it is really within the spirit of the working group. We are advocating for patient partnerships, so it makes sense that we partner up in this working group. And like I said, the overall objective of this working group is really to support, or it's mainly to support the implementation of the patient involvement tools and the different processes and mechanisms that we have been developing to foster this common patient-clinician partnership across all ERNs. So, and to break down this bigger objective, we as a group, our objectives would be to share relevant information and updates on the resources and on the good practices to facilitate and improve patient involvement in the ERNs. Also, for this group to provide advice on the implementation of new resources and to tell us actually what is working well for you and what isn't, and how we can adapt and improve, but also to support the development. And this is really the third and maybe not the most important objective, but it's still an objective of this working group, to develop any new resources that we deem necessary to really promote this patient partnership culture within the ERNs. And well, this slide is just here also for everyone to have access to the same information, as we have already introduced ourselves, but also since some of the members aren't here today. So as you can see, we have a total of 17 members, and we have 12 ERNs represented within our group, which I believe is very positive. I believe this is and can be a group that really represents the ERN community at large. So for example, here today, we don't have Charlotte, who is a manager for ERN, or Anna Marino, who is also a manager for Transplant Child. And we do have 3 coordinators. So who have already been appointed, because as I told you, this working group started its activities in July, and we had to appoint 3 coordinators, and to have, we decided to have a coordinator representing the different stakeholders that form this group. So we have Graham Slater as our coordinator representing the EPAG advocates, Olivia Spivak representing the managers, and then Lenia, who is representing EURDIS. And here is just, this information was basically extracted from the fact sheet that we shared with you, with the description of the working group and with the different roles of the different working group members. And there are 2 main types of members. So the coordinators that you can see here, and then the other members. But basically, these people, as it reads here, will be responsible. So Graham, Olivier, and Lenia will be responsible for organizing and scheduling 3 annual virtual meetings, preparing the agendas, following up on the action points. So basically steering the group and the group's activities. And then we have all of the other members, so whose general roles are to raise awareness of the existing resources to support patient partnership, identify gaps in terms of patient partnership resources, also be and promote a model for patient partnerships as much as possible, and of course, if possible, attend all 3 annual virtual meetings that we will have every year. So basically, everyone's role is really to try to achieve the objectives that we have set out for this group. And we would also like to take the opportunity that everyone, or almost everyone, is here to try to already find some dates for 2023, to sort of block those dates and times in advance, or at least to map your preferences. If we can really fix concrete dates and times, maybe already map your preferences. So the idea would be to have one meeting in the first quarter, another one in the second quarter, and a third one in the third quarter, as for these regular meetings. So I don't know if anyone has any suggestions or.
Maybe, Rita, it's
Yes.
Ilaria speaking, sending a doodle just after this meeting. So I guess for the second and the third quarter, there will not be many problems. But in my calendar, I already have many meetings for the first one.
Okay. So then for the first one, do you have any preferences in terms of months? Let's say, for example, let's forget, and we are having this meeting now, so probably January is way too soon, but let's agree to lean towards March, and I'll send a doodle with possible dates for March, and then maybe June, early July, and then October, November. Would that be okay? Can I get some thumbs up or someone to speak up if they are not happy with these suggestions, month suggestions?
Rita, I was just going to suggest, why don't we just, I mean, and I don't know whether people's diaries would accommodate this, but why don't we just say, for instance, the first, if a Monday is a good day, just for the sake of argument, first Monday in April, and the first Monday in July, and the first Monday in November, and that would be 3 a year, 4 months between each one.
It sounds like a good plan to me. Would you be okay with that? I'll send you some calendar invites, and then we can always try to reschedule according to if we see we have to. But then I'll do that. I'll send calendar invites for these 3 possibilities. And if many people are not happy, I'll send a doodle out. Is that okay?
Okay.
Yes, okay.
Okay. And let's say that these yes, Diana, did you want to say something?
Just I was trying to do the thumbs up, sorry.
No problem. Okay, great. Thank you. Then our regular meetings should have around 1 hour, like the one we're having today. Okay, so that's out of the way.
And Rita, may
Yes.
I add just a consideration? This time, I think it's a good time because me personally, I don't have a meeting scheduled between 1 and 2 o'clock.
Okay, so lunchtime would be a good.
Yes.
Yes, for me too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, lunchtime 1 to 2.
And maybe Rita, sorry, it's Olivia.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe depending on the activities, which we'll define further, it could be a good idea to send some information in advance of the meetings, or we can figure it out so that we can make the most of this 1 hour session. Because just thinking with what we want to achieve and the amount of time that we have, maybe we can figure out a way to make sure that hour is really used in the best and most efficient way to get things done.
Yes, absolutely. But also to emphasize that these are the regular meetings that we are trying to fix. Then if we see it's needed, we're going to also schedule some ad hoc calls or calls that are focused on a specific objective. But the point you're making, yes, of sending materials before the calls, that we are going to absolutely do that so that everyone has access to the same information and can come with ideas, can review the information before the call, and that we can really make the most of the little time that we have. Yes, thank you for that, Olivia. Okay. So would everyone be happy if we sent the materials like 10 days before the call, let's say? Would that be a good timing? Okay. Let's do that. And then last but not least, this is the last topic that we had on the agenda for today's meeting. unless you also have something else that you would like to discuss. But we have created a matrix and we have defined several different categories for patient involvement in the RNs. And we have also mapped the different tools and the different processes that we have already developed. Some of them have been partially implemented, others have not been implemented at all, and others still need to be developed. You can have access to the matrix here. Because this is a very, very lengthy matrix. Some of the older working group members have already had a look at this matrix, but for the newcomers, we felt that maybe this first meeting, as we wanted this to really be about getting to know each other and to bring everyone up to speed, we decided not to go through this matrix in detail, also for the sake of time. So we are going to be sharing, and also in the spirit, and according to the advice that Olivia just gave, we are going to be sharing this with you in advance so that you really can have time to look at it. But we decided to extract the main priority areas that we have identified in that matrix, and for which we have the highest number of resources. And those are the ones that you can see listed here. So the new EPAG governance framework and the application process for new EPAGs, the improved induction of EPAG newcomers and clinicians. So to work on improving the induction that we currently have for new EPAGs, but also for clinicians. And that is something new that we still haven't started, at least the bit on the clinician induction, but then also the reflection sessions, patient journeys, the EPAG assessment framework, and then something that still needs to be developed, which is a short practical guide on patient partnership. And I understand that for some of you, all or some of these topics might be new. So I'm just reading out words that maybe don't have a lot of meaning to you. So at this point, I would just stop talking and give the floor to you for you to share with us if you have any particular interest in any of these topics, if you would like to know more about these different topics, if you're lacking some very basic info on any of these priority areas, and also if you already have any suggestions for how to go about this in 2023. Or is it way too confusing and way too much, and you'd preferred me to give you some more info on the different topics?
Well, I can help you with the patient journey because we have already this, I think, 2 years in place. That's one. And the other thing, the short practical guide on patient partnerships is also very interesting. So if I can make some contribution over there, let me know.
So the short practical guide, starting there, the idea, we have already started working on an outline, and we would then be sharing the guide with the group and seeing who would be interested in helping us put that together. So this is from the different priorities that are listed here on this slide. This is the only thing that hasn't been started, so that we would be doing from scratch, basically, in 2023. All of the other things are already ongoing. And like you said, for example, the patient journeys have been developed by some ERNs for some diseases. So the idea really here with the patient journeys would be to see who is interested in, raising awareness of the methodology that has already been developed, of trying to find people interested in doing additional patient journeys for diseases that are not yet covered within their ERNs, or if you think the methodology can somehow be improved or to best meet your needs within your ERN, we can also work on that. So that's for the patient journeys, for instance. That's it. That would be the idea.
So what do you want? Sorry.
I'm here. I've been working with the patient journeys, so I know quite a bit of it. And then I was active in the assessment framework. So I think I can contribute to those groups.
Okay, thank you. IPAG assessment. So the IPAG assessment working group, the IPAG assessment framework, sorry. It was a project that was started, I believe, 2 years or 2.5 years ago. Lenia, correct me if I'm wrong. But I believe
Yeah,
so.
so yeah, exactly. I mean, Diana and Ilaria and Ami and Dorica, they've run pilots about 2 years ago, I think it was, to pilot the framework basically. And it's something that we've been recently approached by some ERNs who want to look into this, what we've done because of the evaluation process. And so we've provided the materials, the surveys we ran, but always with the sort of note that there were some limitations to what we've done, and that the framework needs improving, and that we've put it on hold somewhat because we thought we needed the help of social researchers to improve the measures, the indicators that we used. Also, we did not really collaborate with the clinicians to develop the indicators. So that would be another advice in terms of improving the framework, is to revisit the indicators together with the clinicians and the IPAG leads. But yeah, we've done that. Diana, was it? I'm seeing you, that's why I'm calling you out. I think it was 2 years ago or 3 years, I'm not quite sure, the pilot.
We started in 2019. Then we launched the first data collection, I think in 2020. And then some of us repeated it one year afterwards, I think.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to add something. In view of not only the evaluation, but also on the need really to integrate some kind of assessment really of related to the patient's partnership. Maybe we could plan, maybe not now, because with the evaluation running, I don't think it's a good idea to start working on it right now. But we could work from next year onwards to integrate the IPAG assessment framework within the monitoring system. And this could be done together with the working group on monitoring, which is led by Wout, which is the coordinator of Eurogen, together with Michelle. And so maybe we can discuss this together with them, so that we kind of do the revision of the measures together with the integration in the monitoring system.
That would be great.
Yeah, I think this is something really that we need to do as soon as possible, because in this working group, we also have the commission there. So it's a great opportunity.
Okay. Yana?
Yes. So I'm quite new to this, so it would be great if I could have something to read on these specific topics, just to catch up a bit. But I think it's also interesting for me, because also I'm new, but to the ERNs, I might be interested in being involved in the improved induction of IPAG newcomers and clinicians. Because I know for ERN Cranio, we're going to have some new IPAGs joining probably in the coming year. So that would be great to have that in parallel. And I know, Olivia, you probably know this better than I do, but for ERN Cranio, we also have some patient journeys. So I could be involved in that too, because I know there are some patient journeys already that have already been developed within our diseases.
Okay, thank you. So actually, an idea just came to mind. Let me know if you think this also could be a good idea to sort of create this very simple Excel sheet listing the different priorities and then asking people to say to which projects they would like to participate. And like that, we could also see then how to work on those different priorities, because we really had the possibility of having, one-on-one discussions about different topics. For example, if you would be interested in having the new EPAG governance framework adopted within your ERN, and it is something that is still not yet done, we could have one-on-one discussions with you and with your ERN, for example, on that or on any other topic, or if you would like us to present, for example, the patient journey methodology again, and to have a discussion on that, we could also offer to do that. So really, this first meeting is just for us to get to start laying the first stones to see how we can actually build on this and go about this.
Yeah, and an Excel file would be great, I think, so we can also see who we're working together with, maybe.
Okay, so we'll do that. We'll circulate an Excel with the different priorities so that you can then tell us which ones are your preferred ones. Ilaria, I think you're next, and then Graham.
Yes, thank you, Rita. Go back to the EPAG assessment. I think that if we want to collect data for 2023 and then send the survey out at the beginning of 2024, we or you should send an alert to the EPAGs of all the ERNs to collect the data of the meetings they are attending, the publications and so on. Because if we go back in July or later, maybe the risk is that they couldn't keep track of their activities.
Okay, to plan. Mm-hmm.
This is the experience in the pilot.
Okay, I have to admit that I'm really unfamiliar with the EPAG assessment framework, so I really don't know what was included there, and how the pilots went. So thank you for sharing that. And we are also going to gather the information that we have on that. Like also, Jana, like you said, you are new here, so I think it would be helpful not only for you, but I think for everyone, because some are more familiarized with some projects and others are also new. So let's do that. But thank you for that heads up, Ilaria. And Graham?
Yeah, I was just thinking to the conversation we had at the EPAG steering meeting about the role which particularly, for instance, the lead EPAG or some of the more leading EPAGs in various disease groups and so on play in the various ERNs. And if I remember the conversation, we have massive variability in whether the lead EPAG is part of a kind of core coordinating or managing team within an ERN. We have massive differences between whether EPAGs are joint leads on work packages, work groups, or whatever. And I think we might have actually said in the steering group that it would be useful to kind of collect that information. And I think it's a really important thing for us to do, because if we are, at the end of the day, we're talking about how to improve the patient involvement and stress this word partnership. And I don't think we fully understand yet the challenges in each of the individual ERNs. And I think we should try to establish a baseline of this information. I mean, we hear all these different stories. We heard them on the EPAG steering group a few weeks ago, where people were saying, well, sometimes I get consulted, sometimes I get asked no, or is there anybody on the board from the patient community, and so on. So, I mean, I'm a little bit concerned that we don't yet know that. I'm concerned about the variability, which I think probably stems from maybe the whole ethos, which might be a little bit different in each individual ERN. So I don't know, but I'd like to think we could do something about that. I'm not quite sure exactly what the process would be, but it sounds like some kind of questionnaire. And I think it's also important because I'm almost sure all of this stuff is going to be exposed in Amicus. Yeah.
Yes.
And certainly ERNs that are not engaging as well as others will probably, you know, be marked down if they're not as I say, if they're not regularly engaging patients on board meetings or whatever. Yeah, so that's just that would be my priority, to be perfectly honest.
But do you see that also as part of the EPAG assessment framework, or do you see
Well,
that?
yeah,
as-
I mean, yes, I mean, absolutely. You could see it as part of that. But I think it's a really fundamental part of it, because actually, at the end of the day, it's almost not qualitative. That should be quantitative. You know, it's either yes, we are, or no, we're not. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yes, we've got 3 EPAGs who are engaged in joint leadership roles or whatever it is. Yeah. So that's I think it is a very, very important part of the assessment framework.
Okay.
And it could be, yeah, it can be. What I'm suggesting can be included within that item there.
Okay, just a word of I caution, like for us at Eurydice and for the group also, it's because like I showed you that slide that has the different EPAG transversal working groups, we might run the risk, like, because you were mentioning that we had already also discussed this within the EPAG steering committee. So it's also important to define what one working group does and what the other does, so how they are different, you know. So is the EPAG steering committee taking the lead on this? Because like we have been framing this working group as the implementation working group mostly. Of course, we are also monitoring and trying then to identify what's working and what's not working so well. But just for us to keep in mind that we might run that risk. So we need to be careful there when we define the priorities for this working group.
Well, yeah, I don't mind whether it's the EPAG steering group that takes the lead in collecting the information or not. But I think we need the information, because I don't see how we can implement if we don't know what the baseline is that we're implementing against.
Yeah.
I mean, we know that some are better than others, yeah, and we know there's some good practice, but we should have it more carefully defined.
I think it's on both working groups somehow agendas, and some of the indicators, Graham, well, as we said, they need to be refined. They also may be a little bit outdated by now, but some of the measures we developed 3 years ago capture this kind of information. But I think that the idea that Diana had to have a group of us or a steering committee, we need to define a mix to look at this again and see how it can be incorporated into the work of the monitoring working group is very important. Just to say that I agree with you, and that we can use what we already have and what needs to be improved.
Yeah, and that is well noted that indeed this is a priority for this group to have this data, whether it's the group leading the collection or another one, but to have this data, it's very important to this working group, and we need to make note of that. Diana, would you?
Yes. So I think to make this decision, I think we need to set the objectives, or at least what we would like to reach. So as a patients partnership working group, I guess that one of the actions or the objectives that we would like to reach is to increase the culture of the patients partnership, and of course improve the involvement of patients in a structured way within the networks. And there are also other objectives that we could discuss, but to be on a practical note, I think that we need to set up priorities based on what we want to achieve. So if we want to achieve that patients are better involved in networks, and by doing that, we will of course also promote the culture of patients partnership. It's a win-win game, but I think we need to set that kind of objectives. Once again, it's some kind of strategy that we would like to reach. And in my point of view, I think that a very good way to do a lot of the things that this working group might want to do is to work on this integration of the EPAG assessment framework within the monitoring system. I know from their experience that as soon as indicators are out, it's automatic that people will start looking at that topic more carefully. Hopefully there will be discussions at ERN level, at EPAG level, to understand how to make that thing better, whatever that is. It happened also with the education indicators, you know, when they started monitoring how many webinars we did, then it's natural, it's obvious that more webinars were going to be organized across all the networks. So in my point of view, it's my personal point of view, I think that working on this will have a great impact, especially if we do it together as a group. I am actually not concerned at all about any overlap, because this should never be a work done only by us, only by the steering committee, or only by the coordinators. So this kind of review has to be done as a multi-stakeholder work. So it has to be done together with the working group, together with Rita, Lenya, so Eurodis in general, hopefully also Matt, so that he can join also from the evaluation side, some members of the steering committee. So this is really something that we have to do together, because it's one of the priorities. I think also the network would like, you know, to have some kind of indicators that are a little bit beyond just the number of patients organization that we involve in the network, because that it's not an indicator that shows how much you deal with your patients and how much the patients do in the network. So that's my point of view. So I think I would suggest to have that to think about it for maybe a couple of weeks. Well, then it's it's Christmas, but to think about it a little bit, then decide how to proceed, and maybe get in contact with Michelle and Wout. They're really open to this. I'm pretty sure that they will be fully happy to do this work with us. We could pick one of two members of the steering committee of the EPAGs to come with us. You know, we could have that kind of arrangement where everyone can contribute.
Yeah, just to say, indeed, I think this needs to be something that needs to be tackled from a multi-stakeholder perspective, like you were saying. Indeed, I was just saying that let's just define clearly who does what, so that we are not overlapping and we are actually doing different things or the same thing separately, or that we get lost in this process, because this is massive. And also, again, also reshift a bit of focus, because this working group also needs to focus on things that have already been developed, that can actually already be implemented, and to promote that easy implementation. So, and to not lose track of that. And that is, for example, the new EPAG governance framework, the application process, the patient journeys, the reflection sessions, that are things that are already there, they already exist. And having them better implemented can also positively impact this culture of patient partnership within the RNs. And it's something that's easier for the group to do in the short term. It's not saying that the EPAG assessment framework isn't a top priority. It's just saying it takes longer. It's going to take a lot of focus, but it shouldn't be our only focus. Otherwise, we should, you know, we are also not making the most of this working group and then the different people that we have here. So to sort of maximize the impact that we can have. That was only the point too. Okay, Olivia, please.
Yeah, thanks, Rita. Just a short point. I'm wondering if we can have a think about a way to store and manage these documents. I think it's a challenge with every working group but I'm aware that there's sometimes, you know, different versions of the same document. I think it would be helpful also for the newer people, as Jana mentioned, to have a platform, whatever it might be, Google Docs, a Teams folder, whatever it is that we have, where all the up-to-date documents are stored. Because I think when it comes to implementation, it's important that everyone has that up-to-date information and has kind of a central place where they can locate the documentation.
Absolutely. And thank you for that. That was a discussion that we also had with the ERN Managers Network of creating this centralized repository or where we can have all the different information. So I'm not sure if it makes sense to use the same one because it might not for several different reasons. So maybe, yeah, maybe here, do you have any preferences? We are used to working with Google Drive and with Dropbox. For example, for the EPAG steering committee, we do have a shared Dropbox folder. So if you're happy with that, we can create a shared Dropbox folder for our working group too, and we'll add the documents there.
Yeah, that would be great from my side. I think that's yeah, important. So everyone's working from the same information and the most up-to-date files.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure what time it is. Okay, it's already 2. I'm not sure, Graham, if you want to say something else because you still have your hand up. You're muted, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't. I forgot to lower my hand.
No
Nothing
problem.
more.
Okay, thank you. So I think we can close this meeting if everyone agrees, or do you have any last comments, anything, any pressing, urgent needs? Okay.
Rita, I just want to congratulate with you because you put a very heterogeneous group up, and I'm very glad to work with project managers because I think they are our strength and our main contact point with whom we can liaise in a friendly way, at least in my experience. And but all of you who are here, I'm sure, do the same as Diana is doing. Yeah. So I'm happy to work with you in this group.
Thank you. Thank you, Ilaria. I am agree with you. And I would ask, can we have the slides?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
You'll have access to
Thank
these
you.
slides and to the other resources that were mentioned during the call, and with some additional background information on the different projects and topics that we mentioned.
Okay, and thank you for this working group. It's very interesting for me.
Okay, that's great feedback. Thank you. And it means that we are on the right track, and that actually the working group is not only called patient partnerships, we are already doing it. These are patient partnerships, patient network managers partnerships.
At the end, Andrea Rees will be part of the working group.
Yes, let's aim for the stars.
Yes.
Olivia, do you want to say something before? No.
No, I think you've covered everything, Rita.
Okay, so we will be sharing a lot of information with you, alongside with some dates, so some calendar invites for our meetings in 2023, and then we'll take it from there.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you
Have
so
a
much.
safe Christmas and a beautiful
Thank
Christmas
you.
and a nice vacation.
Yes,
Get
nice.
reloaded and next year full-fledged again.
Exactly, that's the
Yeah.
spirit. Thank you so much, everyone.
All the best
Thank
to
you.
everybody. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.